Is now a good time to start a business, you're asking? Well, that kind of depends. I'm going to show you either way what you need to be thinking about before you answer that question. Okay, so in this video, we're going to talk about whether or not now is a good time to start a business. It actually depends on the industry that you're getting into. Prior to making any decision whatsoever, I'd like to know how long has that business model been around. So if you want to get into the restaurant business and you're absolutely passionate about it, you went to college, became a chef, and that's been your lifelong dream, well, you know, when you say is now a good time to get into it, it kind of depends on you. Do you have the money to start your restaurant? Are you ready? Do you have the personnel? Do you have, you might have a couple close friends that are really passionate about helping you open this thing up. Maybe a couple family members that said they'd help you start it. Whatever the case may be, you just have to make sure that you're ready. And don't be fearful. Every single time I was about ready to start a business, there was fear in me. Of course, it's fear of the unknown. You don't know what's going to happen. And everybody has that fear of failure. That's normal. That's okay. What makes you courageous, what's going to make you courageous is your relentless ability to just keep going through life and doing whatever you've got to do to make that business be successful. That's what's going to make you courageous and make you overcome that fear. Now, when I get into a business, even that it's maybe a small little amount of fear, it gets so overrun because I know that every single day I'm going to put one foot in front of the other and keep pacing and running forward and just keep moving at the goal. The goal is to get set up, to hire a great team, to set up good processes, to have great products and services, and to make sure that I am crushing it as much as I can. My competition will know that I'm in town. They will feel me in any industry that I'm going to get into, in any business, because that's how passionate I am about making my businesses successful, and you should do the same. So the question really comes down to is, are you ready? It's not about it being the right time or not. The only exceptions that I would actually argue on the other side would be trendy businesses. And I've actually been involved in a lot of those trendy businesses. Those are the kind of businesses that you have to be very careful about, because what happens in a trendy business is you start seeing a bunch of stores pop up in your local city. You start hearing about them throughout the country and, oh my gosh, and I'll make an example, the Cash for Gold stores. After the financial crisis of 2008, all of a sudden in 2009 and 2010 and 2011, there were Cash for Gold and We Buy Gold stores everywhere, all across the United States. And it was a very profitable business. So if we were asking ourselves this question back in 2008, 2009, maybe even 2010, I would say it's probably a good time to get into it because the iron was hot. The trend was prices are going up. People are going to want to cash in while the prices are high and sell their gold. So that's probably a good time to get in. Now let's act like you were asking that same question in about April or May of 2013. That would have been the worst time to get into. In fact, in my particular situation, me and my partner had literally opened up 14 We Buy Gold stores in greater Kansas City, right? In all the suburbs and metropolitan, in greater Kansas City, we had 14 different We Buy Gold stores. And by 2013, we started opening in 2010. We found out about the business in 2009. By the time we finally got open, it was 2010. In 2013, gold and silver prices started crashing. And so the amount of people that were excited to sell us the gold and silver had gone down. The numbers had gone down a lot. Our margins were shrinking because as the price of gold and silver go down, so do our margins. We're making less money. If gold's $1,000 an ounce versus say $5,000 an ounce, which it's never hitting, if you were paying say 95% of the spot price on your coins and things like that, maybe you were paying 96, 97, 98%. Well, if you're going to only make a few percent on $1,000, I'd rather make that on a $5,000 deal. If you do the math, you'll see what I'm talking about. If 1 ounce of gold's only worth $1,000, in this example, and worth $5,000 over here, if your percentage of markup is the same, you'd rather buy as much as you could at the $5,000. Furthermore, people are more excited to sell to you when prices are higher because they're making more money. And so the number of customers that were coming to sell to us had dropped significantly in 2013. So if you had come and asked me that question then, I would have said, you're crazy. Why the heck would you open a We Buy Gold or Cash for Gold type buying store in 2013 we're shutting stores down. And we ended up shutting down 10 of our stores, 10 of our 14. We got down to 4 stores. We stabilized. It still hasn't been a fun ride, and now prices, now it's 2020 and we're going through this coronavirus situation. It's affecting the stock market's virtually crashed. It's lost like 30% of its value or more, almost 40%. A lot of markets have crashed. The economies have slowed down and some of them have stopped. And so the real decision is I would first ask, are you getting into a trendy business? I should say a trendy industry, or an industry that's been very well established, okay? So the model in my example of like a cash for gold, that might last depending on what you're excited to make, right? So, we had gotten down to the point where we weren't making as much. And it's a cyclical business, right? So when prices go up, you're doing really big. And then when prices go down, you're doing down. As long as you're willing to ride the roller coaster, it could be a good long-term business for you. There's people that have been in the business for over 40 and 50 and 60 years. There's companies well over that. There's diamond companies that have been in business even longer. And they're doing great. They're making tons of money. And it doesn't matter what the prices of gold or silver are, they're still doing well. So again, it depends on really what you're wanting to do. But I look at each industry before making that decision. And if I'm going to get into a trendy business, I want to be in early. I want to be one of the first to market. If I'm not the first to market, as long as I'm not the market's not too saturated, if I'm the second to market or the third to market, that's usually in most cases okay. But again, it's going to come down to your level of commitment in a trendy business and your ability to adapt. Because in a trendy business, a lot of stuff changes. There's a lot of moving parts. There could be different regulations and things like that. These are things you have to plan for. And if you poorly plan for them, there's a good chance that you're going to fail. So that's what you've got to figure out, is whether or not you're willing to stick it out through thick and thin. I like to get into businesses with a long-term vision in mind. So that way, if, say, nobody ever makes an offer on my business or I can't sell it because I've tried to sell it, that's okay, because I've preset my mind that I'm going to get into this business for at least 10 years, 20 years, for the rest of my life, whatever it is. And even if I don't want to personally, physically be there day in and day out after being there, say, 20 or 25, 30 years or whatnot, maybe I have good people for me that I can hire and promote from within. And they're going to be happy to run it so that I can stay at home. I might make less money. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll make the same. I might make less money, but maybe I don't have to go to work every day. I built like an engine and it runs well. I like to use the restaurant business. If you're a mom and pop shop and you've built a good business and you've got great tasty food and you've got a good customer base, you don't necessarily have to be the one waiting on the tables and cooking. Get yourself a good chef. Get yourself some good waiters and waitresses. Why not? Get yourself a good clerk at the front that rings people up after their meals and things like that. And you're going to obviously have the back end of your business running. You should have a good CPA and a good attorney that you can lean on and good friends in the industry that can help you grow. So when I want to get into a business, I do a lot of research before I decide to get serious about it. Because once I get serious, and I'll tell you when it gets serious. It gets serious when you register the business and you open up a bank account and you set up all the tax account numbers. Because now you're getting letters from the IRS and from your local state authorities, and they're wanting you to set up unemployment and all your taxes, okay? Whatever your licenses are. Now you're in the game. You've literally set your foot into the arena, into whatever industry you're into, you're in the game. Once that mail starts coming in, you've been dealt in the hand. So get ready to play. That's when the business gets serious. So prior to doing that, I really start asking, let's say you're married. Ask your significant other, is this something we really want to do? Do we want to sign up for this for the next 5, 10, 20, 30 years of our life? Do we want to commit to this? Well, it could be good news if we do commit to this. Then, hey, eventually if I could build this business up, then I could quit my day job. I don't really enjoy it there. I've been there long enough. I'm burnt out. This gives us hope. This gives us unlimited potential, unlimited opportunity. Maybe you're one of those people that eventually creates the next greatest franchise in the United States. And everybody's, in the restaurant industry, maybe you create a sub shop, like one of these, like Mr. Good Sense or Subway or one of these. Maybe you're the next greatest one, or Jimmy John's, and you open 1,000 locations. I was at a Tony Robbins conference, and they had the lady that had started Orange Theory, and she's got all these locations throughout the country, and she's franchised, and she's crushing it, doing incredibly well. I was so motivated hearing her story, and that she just started with her passion, with her dream, and she grew that to the moon. Imagine if she was fearful to have gotten into that, there would be no Orange Theory. So a lot of it's going to come down to you and everything else that we've discussed on this video. So remember, keep doing what you're doing, keep pushing hard, and just make it happen.